Hello everyone, welcome to MPBE channel. I am Rosevinda Nabila Putri. Today I will present a chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Instructional Technology and Media for Learning by Sharon Smaldino. And in chapter 2, Sharon explores the student learning. There are 5 parts in this chapter. First is technology and media in today's school, and then the digital teacher, the digital learner, a framework for academic and career learning literacies, and the last part is effective learning environment. Yeah, technology and media in today's school. There is a term instructional technology. It involves the integration of teacher and student use and knowledge of tools, resources, and the techniques to improve learning. To promote a student learning, teacher needs to know the characteristic of their learning. They need to know an appropriate media that they will use in learning. And then the current technology offers several benefits for teachers. The first one is the ability to digitally store and access large amounts of information. The second one is its adaptability to meet the varying needs of the student. And the last benefit is the students are no longer limited to the confines of the classroom. Through the school media center and an internet, a student, the world becomes the student classroom. Next, there are 6 media formats. Media means a communication. It refers to anything that carries information between a source and a receiver, and its purpose is to facilitate communication and learning. There are 6 basic categories of media used in learning. They are text, audio, visual, video, manipulative or objects, and people. Once the teacher determines a media format, they need to decide an appropriate media that they will use in learning activities, and that specific medium becomes instructional materials. Instructional materials are the specific items used within a lesson that influence student learning. Its design and the use of instructional materials are critical because it is the instruction of the student with those materials that generate and reinforce actual learning. Technology and media play an important role in its learning experience. According to Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Thumbs, 2012, they coined the phrase flipped classroom to describe a model of instruction that combines direct instruction with constructivist learning experiences. And the idea combines technology-based learning opportunities with teacher-guided learning. A student can gather the information through video, online exploration, and audio format outside the instructional settings, which then they use it in the classroom to broaden their understanding of the content with the teacher guidance. Okay, next one is the digital teacher. Digital tools expand and enhance the ability of teachers to fulfill the various roles and responsibilities associated with being an educator. That tools enables digital teachers to better plan and provide interactive instruction while participating in a global community of practice with the other educators. There is a digital instruction. Is a digital teacher's instruction includes presentations that are media rich and interactive. For example, like personal response system. It is used to collect and graphically display student answers to teacher questions. And then there is also mobile assessment tools. It enables teachers to record student assessment data directly into a mobile device. It then transfers the data to a computer for report generation. And then also there is a community of practice. A digital teacher participates in a communication of practice. It is then a group of educators with a common goals from around the world. They share the ideas and then resources, and then this interaction allow the teacher to collaborate and exchange ideas and material. The next one is the digital learner. Digital learner learn in a classroom where a technology is a seamless component of learning that expands the educational environment beyond the classroom wall. The digital student use mobile wireless devices in a variety of ways in and out of the school setting by taking technology where it is needed. They also communicate with their digital devices through voice commands, like written notes, or by using a touchscreen or mini keyboard. Student learning communities extend around the world through web-based interactive communication tools and a social media sites such as blogs, wikis, or podcasts. The next one is a framework for academic and career learning literacy. As a teacher, we need to understanding the ability of the student to comprehend or decode the information and to use, transform, and create new information. By recognizing the student as an individual with a unique learning need, teacher will be able to help them to achieve the targeted learning outcomes that indicate their knowledge, skill, and achievement. And then there's also a support system. There are many resources available to achieve this targeted outcome, such as media specialists, technology coordinators, and area universities with courses and programs that can help gain additional knowledge about the technology. And many of these support systems are focused on ensuring student engagement and learning. Next one is the effective learning environment. The trend of future teacher is to move away from traditional teaching strategies and tools for using digital tools with an instructional approach that meets a student needs. According to Fransky, 2006, he explained teacher in the process of variable adoption and adaptation of this technology as a movement. So there are four phase process. First is experimenting by randomly adding technology tools to a few learning situations. And in the phase two is technology is used to do old things in old ways. For example, teacher display a note in a PowerPoint and rather than using a handout. And the third phase is doing all things in a new way. For example, teacher use a virtual 3D model to demonstrate its the structure. And then the final phase, the fourth phase, is doing new things in the new ways. Teachers are fully utilize the power of technology and media in learning. Okay, the learning continuum, traditional to digital. Many of today's classrooms have achieved a fancy phase 4 by adopting and adapting their environment with digital tools that support and enhance digital teacher and student capabilities. There are three primary types of instruction that are used. First is face-to-face instruction, and then there is distance learning, which means that student and teacher is not in the same location, and then a blended learning. It is the combination of face-to-face instruction and the distance learning. And the changing role of media center. Many school libraries have been merged into the library media center. They offer traditional library reading resources, but also include a variety of information technology assets. The library media center also provides a variety of classroom support materials, ranging from a lab kit to a subject-specific software and videos. Let's move to the chapter 2. In chapter 2, Sharon discussed about designing instruction and assessing learning. There are five parts in this chapter. The first one is learning theories, and then there is a principle of effective instruction for learners. The third one is principles of effective technology use, and then the principles of effective media use. And the last part is principles of effective learning assessment. Okay, in learning theories, there are four perspectives. The first one is behaviorist perspective. Behaviorists believe that reinforcing or rewarding the desired responses can shape individual behavior patterns. They rely solely on observable behavior. And then the second perspective is the cognitivist perspective. Cognitivist, based on Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, explore the mental processes individuals use in responding to their environment. That is how people think, solve problems, and make a decision. Cognitivists have a broader perception of learning rather than a behaviorist. The students are less dependent on the guiding hand of the teacher. They rely more on their own cognitive strategies in using learning resources. And the third perspective is the constructivist perspective. Constructivism, considering the engagement of students in meaningful experiences as the essence of experiential learning, which means that students situate the learning experience within their own experience. And the goal of the instruction is not to teach information, but to create the condition which students can interpret information for their own understanding. The constructivists believe that learning occurs most effectively when students are engaged in authentic tasks that relate to the meaningful context. For example, like learning by doing. And the last perspective is the social psychological perspective. Social psychologists look at how the social organization of the classroom affects learning. For example, the activities is a cooperative learning, like small group collaboration, learner control instruction, and etc. Let's move to the principles of effective instruction for learners. Before a teacher create an effective instruction for learner, they need to distinguish the difference between information and instruction. Information is knowledge, facts, news, comments, and content. It can be presented in the classroom in a textbook or through media such as television or online resources. Meanwhile, instruction refers to any intentional effort to stimulate learning by the deliberate arrangement experiences to help learners achieve a desirable change in capability. Next, it is important for a teacher to be aware of the multiple types of student intelligence when planning a lesson. There are 9 aspects of intelligence according to Howard Gardner. First is verbal, and then logical, visual, musical, bodily, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalist, and existentialist. Teacher also need to meet a learner need in creating an effective instruction for learner. The more teachers understand their level of learning and their interest, the easier it will be for them to address ways to help a student learn. When making an instructional decision, the goal is to find ways to ensure the success. And teacher need to decide the strategies that is used and then the technology and media that they will offer the best support and how they will assess the student learning progress. There is a Bloom digital taxonomy and the forces. Benjamin Bloom developed a learning taxonomy that he described as a staging focus on cognitive learning skill ranging from knowledge through the evaluation. There are some stages. The first is students started at a knowledge stage by recalling the specific and then progress to the comprehension stage. In this stage, they will be able to paraphrase or summarize the content. The next step is application. In the application step, the student could use the ideas or the information in a meaningful way. And there is also the partnership identified for skills as the means by which students can acquire their academic knowledge. They are critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Next is the principles of effective technology use. Teachers not only need to use the technology effectively in their teaching, but they also need to guide students in using those tools to enhance the students' learning. And then according to ISTE 2012, there are 6 areas of competency that is also known as technology literacy skills. First is students are creative and innovative in technology use, and then students effectively communicate and use technology collaboratively, and then the student use technology to gather the information, and then student use technology for critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making, and then student demonstrate good global citizenry, and the last is students skillfully use technology resources. Next is the principle of effective media use. Learning from a multiple sources of media provide us with the information and challenges our thinking. As a users of these sources, we need media literacy skills to know how to assess the information and then how to understand and analyze the content and how to create a new media messages. And there are valid and vital sources of information such as text, television, video, and a host of other media sources covered within textbook. And then the teacher role is to guide the student to use these media as a sources for their learning in a ways that are wise, safe, and productive. Next one is the principle of effective learning assessment. There are some types of assessment. First one is authentic assessment. It is required students to use processes appropriate to the content and skills being learned and to how they are used in the real world. The most commonly used rating scales for authentic assessment include performance checklists, attitude scales, product rating checklists, and rubrics. And the next type of assessment is portfolio. It is aims to determine the overall individual performance of each student. Portfolio are used to assess tangible products that exemplify student accomplishment in terms of analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. A key component of portfolio is the requirement for students to self-reflect on their own learning as demonstrated in a portfolio product. And then there are types or artifacts that a portfolio might contain. The first is written document, and then audio recording, video recording, and computer multimedia project. And then there are two types of portfolio, a traditional and e-portfolio or electronic portfolio. Traditional portfolio are physical collection of student work, consists of paper documents, photos, video, and audio recording, or perhaps 3D models, while electronic videos store all the student work as a digital file. For example, any computer-generated product such as spreadsheet, Word, process report, or website. The last types of assessment is a traditional assessment. Traditional measures are used to demonstrate levels of knowledge such as multiple choice, fill in the blank, true or false, or short answer tests are the way to identify students who have mastered particular facts and to determine which students may need additional instruction.